Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for this morning. We thank you for this opportunity you've granted us. We thank you for the environment where we are stationed. And we pray that everything remains stable, the power, the internet, and the gadgets we are using to the end of this session. We put into your hands colleagues who have not yet joined, who are struggling. You lead them through, so that they don't miss all the steps you are going to undertake this morning. We've prayed believing in your Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. My name's Stephanas Galinya, the University Librarian, and I'm going to take you through a session which has 3 modules. We are going to first look at the online library or the e-resources. And then later we shall look at the in-text citation and referencing. And then lastly, we shall look at the plagiarism, how we can do it practically using the drill bit system, which the university subscribed to. For us to access the online library resources, we visit the university website. We're going to go to our browsers and just type there nduniversity.ac.ug. When you reach at this page, on the main menu of the university website, we have the library. And for you to access the online resources, you go to e-resources. However, we also have what we call remote access, and we are currently using Milo, which you can be able to utilize when you are using your personal data, not on the university network. But our concentration now is on e-resources when we are on campus. The moment you are at this page, you have the opportunity of viewing a list of 22 different databases which we have access to. And what we've done, we've come up with quick guides for faculty. Now, when it comes to today's session, we're having colleagues from DICTS, from AR, and even DVC. We've also invited our PhD students to attend this session because they requested for a session which is outside the faculties where they are housed. So we also expect the honorary PhD students to be part of this training this morning. So among the databases we have those which are both for ebooks and e-journal articles. And then we have those which are specifically for ebooks. And then also we have those which we subscribe to when they are basically only for e-journal articles. So to show you a sample of the quick guides which we've come up with for faculties, for example, under the Faculty of Science and Technology, Science and Computing, we've categorized their databases in this way so that you don't run through all the 22 databases, but you move specifically to a database where you are sure that you'll be able to access the resource. Here we have ebooks, EBSCOhost. We put it under ebooks. However, EBSCOhost also has access to e-journal articles. Then we have Taylor and Francis ebooks. Then when we go to journal databases, we have Hinari. However, Inari also has access to e-journal e-journal articles. Then we have Wiley, we have IEEE, Mathematical Science Publishers, the Grutter's Journals, Taylor and Francis, we have also another landing page for Taylor and Francis, basically for e-journal articles. Another sample for education and humanities, those who lie under humanities. Here we have OUP, which is Oxford University Press, basically for books only. That's what we subscribe to. EBSCOhost, Taylor and Francis. So some of these databases we share. Now colleagues who are in directorates, which cut across, you have the opportunity to access every database depending on your need or your interest. So we are going to have a look at some of them. We shall start with EBSCO. We are going to sample some of them, not all, because of time limit. Let's look at EBSCO. Then we shall also look at Taylor and Francis, and then OUP for ebooks. The moment you come to EBSCOhost, you have a search box where you can search the materials of your interest. For example, if I'm looking for information on information technology, developments. When that is my search strategy, it will be to journal, and you'll appreciate that the database will give us 12,272 results. And amongst these, it is filtering by relevancy. The relevancy comes from my search strategy. And here they are showing us some are books, some are academic journals. However, there is what we call filtering. So you can be able to filter by source type. If you needed books, you can select ebooks and other books, and then you apply. So the database will filter and show you what it has. And so far, we have access to 358 ebooks based on our search strategy. You can also limit by date, but for books, don't try to rob mark because you'll not be successful. It has to be at least 2 years and above, or you can give a date range. Then you can also be in position to filter by full text, because some books, they might be giving you access to only abstracts, but the moment you select the full text, it means it will filter only the books which you have access to in full. Filtering continues. The moment you call all filter, it will show you what you've so far filtered. We filtered the ebooks and books, full text. And then here, we've also selected full text. And then we can also select specific subjects here. So it is a segmenting our main subject search into different segments here: education technology, information technology, economics, electronic data processing. So the database will give you an opportunity to break down your main search strategy. For example, if I'm looking at information technology development in terms of artificial intelligence, I'll select that. In case I'm looking at it in technological innovation, I'll select that. Then also, if I'm looking at it in terms of knowledge management, I'll still select that. And then I'll update the selection and apply. So the database will filter and will only give me 4 books because that is where my interest is. So if I'm interested in, for example, the second book, which says Internet of Things, Application for Enterprise Productivity, it was published in 2020. I'll go to Access Options and then click on PDF. And under this, the book will display with its cover page. And on the right-hand side of the page, there will be the table of content. I can be in position to download chapter by chapter. The book has 11 chapters, but also I can download a full book. However, it will first take me to the chapters only, and I'll select full book. Now, the books on EBSCO, some of them you can be in position to download full PDF, but also some you are required to sign in so that you can borrow for maximum 84 days, excluding your weekends and public holidays. So the moment you click on sign in, it will take you to a page of this nature. And you're signing in here, select your Gmail, sign in with Google. And then you select your email so that you are able to log in, and then you'll be able to download the full book. There's an error. Refresh. Okay, so when I go to full book now, they will give me the number of days. On the drop down, how many days do I need to borrow the book? If I need it for 30 days, I'll select the 30 days. However, you need to have a book reader called Adobe DICTS Editions. So if you don't have it, you can open it in another new tab, and then you are given a provision to download for Apple machines, Macintosh. For Windows, the provision is there. If you are using a mobile device, you can download an app using your iPhone, or if you are on Android, you can go to your Google Play Store and download the app. When we go back to the book, then we can be able to download, but we are going to have access to it for 30 days. And they will give you a summary that your download will be available for 4 weeks, 1 day, 23 hours, and 59 minutes. What does that mean? We've already started accessing. However much, we are still in the process of downloading this material. So the Adobe DICTS Editions will open on your gadget if you already have it installed. If you don't have it, it will pop you still to first download it and install it. And in case you have any challenge with downloading such software, we have our DICTS team. You can seek assistance from their offices, either at main campus or at Kampala campus, and then they can assist you to download and install. However, you should have the admin rights of the computer or the laptop you are using, because you will be blocked or to first log in the administrative password to be able to install the software. The software helps you to read the book offline. So after downloading it, you'll have access to the book offline, and you don't need internet anymore. However, after the 30 days, it will just expire. Whether you are online or offline, it will just expire, and you'll be required to go back to EBSCO and borrow it afresh. So our book is loading. Let's wait for it to finish loading, and then we can have access to it. So our book is here, Internet of Things, Applications for Enterprise Productivity. And you can go to the left-hand side of the page under the table of contents and select chapter by chapter of your interest. And when you are on the right-hand side of the page under change page view icon, you can maximize to actual size, or if you have a sight problem, you can zoom. And then you'll be able to look at, to read the chapter from there. Every chapter you click on, it will just display. Instead of scrolling from page 1 to the last page, you are able to move chapter by chapter. Then when you go back to your library, you are able to view the books. Some are expired, and then those ones which have remaining days. I have a book which has 23 days remaining, and one we've just downloaded having 29 days remaining. So that's how you can be able to access books under EBSCO. However, you can also share. There's a sharing icon. You can be able to share a book. And since this is a book, you create a link. And then this link, you copy to the clipboard and share it with colleagues. So if you are lecturing, you can be able to post this link under your topic in the learning management system, so that students can also be in position to borrow that same book. The link will take them to the landing page of the book of EBSCO, and then they will also be required to borrow it accordingly. So you can be able to instruct them which chapters they can read, or if they are required to read the whole book, that will also be possible. Then it also has a provision for citation. The moment you go to the citation, it will give you different styles. It is limited. However, there are some styles, and by default, it will display to you APA. So for you, you can also copy this to the clipboard and paste it in your reference list of your working document. So for us to go back on the home page of EBSCO, so when you go back to the home page of EBSCO, when we use the same search strategy we used, you can also be in position to get articles. So we can go to the source type and select journal articles, and these are 8,000 plus. So when we are here, we can even select to only have access to peer-reviewed articles or to have access to all of them. And for articles, there is no need to sign in to borrow. However, we need to select those ones which you have full access to, because for example, the first one here, we don't have access to it. So we shall also filter by full text. So we have access to 2,774 articles. So meaning that however much the database was displaying to us 8,000, but we only have access to 2,774. And among these, we are able to download. So for the databases, for the articles, some of them, they will be hosted under ELIC database, which is under EBSCO, or you can be able to download a PDF straight away. So the moment you click on PDF, so our article is displayed, it's here, but it's still online. However, there are provisions of citation, as we talked earlier with the books. You can also be in position to share. Now, because the article is light, you can be able to put it on your Google Drive, OneDrive, create also a link, the way we did with the books, and then you can also email it. So you can put in an email for someone, or for your students, separate them by commas, and then you send. So they will be able to access that article. The email will be sent with a link where they can be able to visit. Instead of downloading and then you start sharing via their emails, you rather share a link and then you spare your space. So here we can be able to download a full text, and then our article is here. So we can be able to read it offline. And this article was published last year. It was published last year. So when we go back to our page, the online page, the books which are under ERIC, the same procedure, you just click on ERIC and then it will open another page for ERIC landing page, and then you click on download full text. And the PDF is there, and they are telling you that this article is peer reviewed. So you click on download, and then you'll get a PDF version. So here is our article. It is still online. You can still download it. When you go to ERIC, they'll give you the brief information about the article you are downloading, the abstract, the keywords, and even the authors. So that's how we can navigate through EBSCO. Now, going back to our e-resource list, we can now look at Taylor and Francis ebooks. Here we may search, or we may also access by browsing. Browsing is going through an alphabetical list of the collections. Now, Taylor and Francis has grouped books. There are those they call ebook collections, ebook series, open access ebooks, and free access ebooks. I want to explain the difference between open access and free access. Open access, those are books which are published ideally from the word go when there is no any payment attached. Then free access ebooks, those are books which were once for payment, but now the author has lifted the embargo of payment, and now you can access it for free. The same applies with journal articles. There are also some which are in the same category, like open access and then free access. But for us now, we are going to browse by subject. So there are a number of subjects here, and then you can pick a subject of your interest. For example, if I'm in education, I look for something related to education, and the moment I click on education, I'll get a list. To ask who are in computer science, to be the same, and then we shall be referred to that long list. If you are in administration, then you can also visit social sciences, you find their materials, or you can go to humanities. So the moment you visit, they are showing you that under education only, we have 21,316 books. However, this shouldn't excite you. You go to the filtering column and then you select only content you have access to. And the database will filter, and it's showing you that under education in general, you have access to 972 books, equivalent to 4,753 chapters. And under education, they will break it down for you by subject. If you are looking at bilingualism, there are 54, adult education, 43, childhood, there are 50, continuing professional education, curriculum studies, areas, higher education. If you are looking at higher education, there are 221 books, inclusion and special education needs, open and distance education and e-learning. So there are 47. So you are able to view different subjects under education, and it's upon you to select. Remember, since we already selected only content we have access to, it means that all these subjects we have access to them. For example, if we select open and distance education and e-learning, the database will display to us the 47 books, and then you can be able to view the abstract. The book is on Global Perspective on Teaching with Technology, published in June 2024. This is its first edition. If you want to access the whole book, you can right and click, open it in a new tab. If you are still interested in the long list here of other books, improving assessment and evaluation strategies on online learning. Of recent, our DICTS team has been taking us through the new innovations on the LMS. So if you need to learn more about assessment and evaluation when you are teaching online, a book is also here. So now when we go to this book, you'll be able to get the general abstract. And then for Taylor and Francis, you'll only be able to download chapter by chapter. So when we come here to the abstract, you'll be able to view the abstract of every chapter. Now, this book was organized in a way that every chapter, it has its own author. So, however, it seems this one, we don't have access to it, however much they are saying it's open. Let's look for one which we have access to this. Let's open this one. Because ideally, they should have indicated PDF provisions here. Let's go to this one. There is no download provision. Let's look at this other one. Overcoming challenges in online learning. The book will have its general DOI, and then you can be able to share. You click on share, you can share by email, by X or Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, or copy a link. And then you share with the students or fellow colleagues. This book was published in March 2023 by Registrar Publishers. So when you come here, Introduction to Challenges of Online Learning, Educational Management and Leadership in Online Learning Environment. Okay? And then if you want to download, you click on download, and then the page will open for the online chapter. So in case you need a whole book, it will be the same process to go chapter by chapter to download the whole book. So our chapter is here. There's a provision for sharing, and here it will generate for you a link which you can copy and share with the students, share in your LMS topic. You can also go to download and you get a PDF. And our PDF chapter is here on Introduction to Challenges of Online Learning. The chapter, it also has its DOI. However much the book has a general DOI, but since these chapters are written by different authors, each is given a DOI. When we go back to the home page of the book, it has 16 chapters. So in case you want all the 16 chapters, you can download all the 16 chapters. With caution that you are going to use them for academic and research purposes, not for business purposes. Because the moment you start selling the book or selling the chapters, then you are infringing with the copyright. Yet in academia, we have a waiver of fair use, and we're using these materials for academic and research purposes. So you are allowed to download all the chapters, you are allowed to print, but strictly for academic and research purposes. You are not allowed to download them and then create Google links for students, but you can upload them in the LMS for study purposes, according to the modules or the topics you handle. So that is with Taylor and Francis. We've navigated it by browsing. The same you do with other subjects. You keep on filtering and then you are able to get exactly what you have access to. Humanities is quite broad, so you filter and then you are able to access this much. Then the third database, which we can sample, is Oxford Scholarship Online. Also for it, you can browse by subject. It has the major subject, and then to go ahead to break them down. Science and mathematics, you will find computer science there. And then under computer science, you find artificial intelligence, audio processing, computer architecture and logic, designs, mathematical theory, computation, and others. Then when you go back on the main subjects, if you are going to go under humanities, you'll find education there. There are a number of subjects, and then early childhood and elementary education, if that is my interest. Teaching of specific groups and special education needs. And then the database will list for you the books which are available. Now, under early childhood and elementary education, for them, they have 56 books, but I'll select content I have access to. And then in the process of filtering, I'll also select full text so that I'm able to access. They will go ahead and break them down into subjects. So they are breaking it down. We have clinical child and adolescent psychology. There are 12 books. If you are looking at children in psychology, then you can also be able to access. Now for OUP, still you'll be in position to download chapter by chapter. You go to a specific book, and then it will take you to different chapters. So every chapter has its own DOI. This DOI is very important because you can also share it with the colleagues. However, the database also gives you provisions of sharing a full chapter, and then there is a PDF. Where you say PDF icon, it means you are able to download that chapter. So that's how you can also be able to access materials under OUP. And then here, OUP will go ahead to format for you. It will show you that under your subject of teaching of specific groups and special education needs, under format, you have 4 books. You have 44 chapters, front matters and end matters. And then they will go ahead under subjects and they will break it down as well. So you are able to break down to the specific item of your need. Then there is also date range. you can decide that I'm looking for materials from 2023 January up to 2026, and this is March as well. And then you update. The database, if it has nothing, it will indicate for you there is nothing. Now, in relation to this specific subject, we have 14 items published between January 2023 up to March 2026. And that is what you have access to. So our chapter we're downloading, it's offline here. So you can also be able to read it from there. So that is with the eBooks database. The others we can navigate as we move on. Then with the e-journals, we can sample IEEE. We can also look at the Research for Life databases. These are databases which we access through any agencies. That is Agora, Hadi, Goli, Hinari, Owari. Owari is for environment, Hinari is for health, Goli is for law, Hadi is for intellectual property and technology, Agora is for agriculture. So you can be able to access this data. Now, these Research for Life databases, as low-developed countries, we access them free of charge. But when you get an opportunity and you travel to Europe and you want to access Agora, you'll be blocked because in the developed world, they have to pay. So it's only here where our IPs in low-developed countries were allowed to access for free, because the UN agencies, they pay a certain fee with the publishers of these materials. So for example, when you go to Hinari, look at Hinari briefly before we go look at IEEE. So when we go to Hinari and we look for higher, for example, higher education, education management. They are giving you 237,076 results, cutting across different content types. On the left-hand side of the page, that's where we have the content types: journal articles, conference proceedings, book reviews, book chapters, ebooks, magazines, papers, reports, trade publication articles, references, web sources, dissertations, newsletters, publications, and datasets. So the list is long, so you can filter from there. Then you can also refine by full text online or scholarly peer reviewed, and scholarly peer reviewed will only work for the journal articles. Then you can also dictate by publication date, or you can customize and give a range of the dates you would like to get materials from. Or you can go by discipline. You are looking at education management, under education, under medicine, under public health, under biology, under economics, under business, under pharmacy, therapeutics, and pharmacology. So it depends on your interest. So, and then you filter. And they are showing you how many items are available per each discipline. Then you can also filter by subject. The subjects are also there, a number of them. So you can also filter by subject. If I'm specifically on education, I'll select education, and then the database is going to drop down the items. And now I have 51,000 results because I'm looking at education, and that one will also reduce the numbers on the content type as well. And then that is by discipline, but I can also go by subject. By subject, I'm also looking at education. The numbers will drop to 35,000 results. Why are you doing all that? To be more specific. So we have access to 34,943 results, but we can also give a date range and then reduce by year of publication. For example, if I reduce by 5 years, the database will check for me from 12th March 2026 up to 12th March 2021. So those are the results which I'll have arranged to access. And then for you to have access to a PDF, when you run through, you have to look for the material which has a PDF provision. And then you open it in a new tab if you're still interested in the list. Then those ones which are indicating full text online, it means you can only be able to access them online. So if your filtering was limiting you, you can drop it, and then the database will filter back to the general search where you started from, and then to take you back to the general search strategy. So the article is here. Okay. So it will take us back here, and then you'll still be able to refine your search. Then IEEE, it's a database which can help those who are in mathematics, physics, technology, electronics, mechanics. So we also have access to it. However, the collaboration we have for IEEE through the consortium, you can only access their resources via our institutional IP address. What I forgot to let you know that even EBSCO, it's the same. They've also changed that their trend of service. We cannot access EBSCO under MyLoft, under remote access. And also IEEE, we cannot access it via remote access. You have to be on university network because they want to monitor the IPs which are accessing the resources. And the university submitted its IP addresses both for main campus and Kampala. So that's what we are limited to. However, the consortium is having discussions with them, which will involve another cost through the consortium, so that when they attach a cost, then we can be able to access these databases remotely. But currently, we can only access them via the university platforms, rather the university network. That is with EBSCO and IEEE. The rest of the databases, they are okay. They've not restricted us. So under here, you can also search, you can also browse. We have access to journal articles, some few conference papers, some few magazines. We don't subscribe to ebooks. You don't need to log in. The institutional sign-in, you don't need it. You are recognized as a client of Ndege University. So here we can search for artificial intelligence. Okay. IEEE is quite a heavy database, so sometimes when the bandwidth is not strong enough, you may get challenges. Is a problem. Try to close it and open it again. So when we search for artificial intelligence, they are giving us 348,403 results. And then here, we select open access only, so that we are able to get only materials we have access to. When you find a locker, it means that you don't have access to those locked materials. So we have to filter. And then we have access to 46,296 results. And then you can see the padlock now is in green. So you can check the abstract. Or you can read the article online, or you can download a PDF. Then when it comes to the date range, they are giving us results from 1990 to 1926. We can reduce maybe to 2024. And then the database will filter again, and we have access to 18,617 results. You can continue filtering by author, by affiliation. Affiliation, those are the journals where, or the publishers where these articles are coming from. You can filter by publication topic. For example, I might be looking at convolutional neural networks, deep learning, neural network, long short-term memory. Show more. Remember, we are in artificial intelligence, and all this, the database is trying to show you that you have access to these results. I can be looking at artificial neural network, or root mean square errors, vision transformers, object detection is machine learning models. Let me select machine learning models and refresh. The database should be in position to display only that. Has not filtered. Here it should filter. There's something wrong. Okay, it could be a network issue, but usually the moment you select a publication topic, it will filter and will only display that. So we have this much, and if we need to access the PDF, one of them which we clicked on, it's here. It was published in 2020. And then you can have it offline. It's a 4-page document. Then you can have access to it offline. So that is to deal with IEEE. The other databases, you can also be able to access them the same way. We only have a database here which doesn't have articles. The osmosis, it is for our medical students and the health students. For them, they view videos. And we had to create an email which they use as students through DICTS for them to be able to log in, because you are supposed to log in to access osmosis. Now, if you're interested in medicine, then you can let us know, and then you can have access to this, because there is no direct access on osmosis. However much it is for videos, you have to first log in, and then you are able to access the videos here, because it gives them the practical environment, how they do things in the labs when they are learning. So that is osmosis. Thank you so much for your attention for the first module. We are going to have a break of 5 minutes, a commercial break, and then we shall return. However, I'm seeing Madame Florence Nyakecho. I think you have a question. Please, you can ask before we have a break. Do you have any question, please? We just muted by mistake. Okay, if there is no any question at the moment, Let's have a 5 minutes break and then we shall resume. Thank you. In the meantime, those who did not register, I'm resharing the registration link in the chat. As we break off for 5 minutes, you can please register for attendance. back from the commercial break. Let us resume. We are now going to look at the referencing and index citation, and we are going to basically concentrate on mainly referencing tools.
So did that.
Can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me now? No? So let us resume, and now we are going to look at a referencing tool called Mendeley. It's an open source referencing tool. What's Mendeley? Mendeley is a reference manager used to generate sites interface in Microsoft Word. So you can only utilize it in Microsoft Word to access the index citation. It is an academic social network that helps researchers to organize their research, share and discover papers, and collaborate with others online. Then we have three areas or major goals of Mendeley, that is organizing your references, collaborating with others, and discovering new research. It can also be used to annotate your PDF files and also organize your reference library. And we are going to do this practically. Then Mendeley is a free software which you are able to utilize on different platforms. And you can also understand how the product works, how it looks like, and how you can use it in different ways. The first thing you need to understand is that you need to create an account. You need a cloud account for you to access Mendeley both online and even offline on your computer. When you are creating an account, you'll be required to submit your first name, your last name, your email and password. Those are the few requirements. Then you also need to log in into the different versions of the software you are using. And the moment you create an account, you'll be prompted even to download a Mendeley desktop, which we are going to do right now. Download a Mendeley desktop, which you can be able to use on our current projects. However, Mendeley doesn't have, Edwin is saying sound is quite audible enough. Can I hear from others? Hello. Before we continue, let's make sure that you are hearing me well. Hello. Can you hear me very well? Okay. Hello. Can you hear me now? Is the volume okay now?
Yes, please.
Yes. Yes,
I'm very sorry. I don't know what happened with the technology.
Okay.
The good thing, Jason is part of the team. You will explain to me why it happened.
Your sins are forgiven.
Thank you, Edwin. So it means that since I started, you've not had anything I should repeat?
Yes.
Is that what it
Did
means?
nothing.
Nothing.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe
Okay,
go back to the session.
let me start afresh this session.
Yes.
Okay. All right. This session we are looking at mainly one of the softwares or the tools which can be used for referencing and citation. Why mainly? It's an open source. Currently, we've not yet subscribed to a licensed software or a tool like EndNote, but that one cannot hinder us to write citation and referencing, whether papers we are publishing or projects or courseworks and so on. So that's why as a library, we thought that we should move a step ahead as also we settle our finances to pay for licensed tool. So Mendeley is a reference manager used to generate citations and bibliographies in Microsoft Word. You cannot use it in any other Microsoft Office application, but it works with Word. It has three goals. One of it is to organize your references. Secondly is collaboration with others. And thirdly, discovering new research. It can also be used to annotate your PDF files and organize your reference library. We are going to create our own libraries in our own accounts. As I said earlier, it is a free software which you are able to utilize on different platforms. Currently, it is limited to mobile devices. You can only be able to use it on a computer and a laptop. So we are going to look at the product itself, how it looks like, and how we can be able to utilize it. The first thing you need to understand that you have to create an account, which is free. There is no any fee attached. And what you are required is to submit your first name, your last name, your email, and password. And then an account is created for you. So this takes very few seconds to create an account. It doesn't have any rocket science in it. So when you have a Mendeley account, you'll be prompted to download a version for Mendeley Desktop because desktop is the one which we can use when we are offline. Mainly, when you create an account, you have a cloud account and a local account, which is mainly desktop. So it will offer you a complete experience whereby you can be able to build, to maintain, and order your personal library. You can be able to delete, but also upload new items. It will also allow you to read the items you've entered, but also there are other writing functions which we are going to look at. The moment you open Mendeley Desktop, you'll be required to log in your Mendeley account details. The details we create online, those are the same details which we can use on Mendeley Desktop. And this is your personal account, which you can use across different devices, so long as those devices you have installed Mendeley Desktop. So this is just a screenshot of which we are going to navigate on how you can upload files there, and even how you can import them from other tools, referencing tools. Then we also have what we call a Mendeley Web Importer. You can be in position to import directly from the databases we've looked at, or you can import from Google Scholar. For your information, for those who are not aware, Google Scholar fetches from some of the databases we've just looked at. So you can be able to do a search, a strategic search from Google Scholar, and then you'll still be able to import those items directly into your Mendeley account. So we are also going to look at that practically on how we can do the importation of the items. Ideally, Mendeley works with the PDF. It interacts with the PDFs. So the PDF files, you'll be able to highlight, you'll be able to annotate documents, you'll be able to use different rainbow annotation colors. So it has a number of colors which you can keep on changing depending on your interest and the item or the item you are reading at the time. Okay. Then we are also going to do the the citation plugin. And the citation plugin, this one, we do it with the Microsoft Word so that you are able to do the offline in-text citation and referencing using Mendeley. So under Cite, you shall be able to generate in-text citations in Word. You can be able to merge citations. You can be able to insert your bibliography, or which we usually call the reference list. And then you have an opportunity to look at different citation styles. So briefly, that is what Mendeley entails. Now we can navigate it practically, and so that you can get a niche on how to apply it. So we are going to start with creating an account, an online account. And when we move to our browsers, you type there mendeley.com. And this is how the page will look like. When you come here, you click on sign in. For first-time users, it will give you a page which I screenshotted in the slides, where you have to insert in your email, your names, your password, and then you create an account. If a regular user, it will just take you straight out to your email, and then you'll be required to log in, which I'm going to do. If you're having two gadgets where you are stationed, you can create an account straight away and we move together, either using your phone. So when we are at this page, we go to my library. And under my library, you are surprised that mine is populated because it's used daily for training purposes. But as a first-time person, your page will be blank. When we go to the left-hand panel of the page, where we have collections, under create collections, we are going to create collections here. And I'll create a collection for AR. I'll just call it AR. Then I'll create another collection. I'll call it DICTS. Okay. I'll create another collection and call it DVC AA. Okay. Now, when I'm having these three collections, the moment I click on DICTS, it is empty. No references in this collection. Drag and drop PDFs here to add references to this collection. So most of us who are just created the account, that is how your page will look like. It will have nothing completely. However, still under these collections, there are three dotted icons here. The moment you click on them, they give you more actions. You can create sub-collections here. I can create a sub-collection for academics and learning. Okay. Under DICTS. I can go back and create another sub-collection of infrastructure and networking. Okay. I'll go to AR, do the same, create a sub-collection, admissions. Okay. I'll go back to AR, create another sub-collection, call it graduation. Now, why am I coming up with these sub-collections? It will be helpful for me when I'm making citations to know that exactly articles which are under admissions, they deal with aspects of admissions. The ones on graduation, they deal with aspects of graduation. I can even add another one for examinations. Okay. And leave it like that. I can go under DVCAA and just put there all the faculties and create folders for faculties because I know very well they lie under DVCAA. For example, I can say Faculty of Earth Sciences. I can create another one and say Faculty of Business Administration and Management. However, within these sub collections, I can still create more sub collections. Exams, I can say undergraduates. So the list is endless. It's upon you, the owner of the account. I can go back still and put PhD assessment. And so on and so forth. So those are my sub collections within the main collections which we created. The moment I click on admission, there is empty examination. If I go to PhD assessment, there is nothing. Undergraduate, there is nothing. When you go to DICTS, it's the same. When you go under infrastructure networking, there is nothing. When you go to DVC under Faculty of Business Administration and Management, there is nothing. Now, we are going to open another new tab and leave our account open like it is. We open another new tab, and now we are going to do the Mendeley Web Importer. We are going to create an extension. We are going to create an extension for Mendeley. Now, when we open in another new tab, just type there Mendeley Web Importer. And then in the search box, it will trigger you with the browser you usually use. If you're using Chrome, it will show Chrome. If you are using Firefox, it will indicate that, Safari, or Microsoft Edge. So I'm using Chrome, and I'll go to the Chrome Web Importer store. And I'll have a page of this nature. On the right-hand side, we have a blue button which says Add to Chrome. You click on it, and it will give you an extension, Add Mendeley Web Importer. And you click on Add Extension. If you cancel it, means you don't need the service. So you add. Moment you add, our web importer has been added to Chrome. On the top right-hand corner of the extensions icons. So the moment I close, it will not be displayed here, but you will go to the extension icon, just click on it once, and it will give you a number of extensions. If you don't have extensions there, definitely nothing will be displayed. And then you'll select and pin. So I'll pin the Mendeley Web Importer, and then it has been pinned, it is there. Now the next thing, our account, remember we've left it open. Now the next thing is to open one of the databases and make a search. Usually the web importer will be easier for it to import mostly journal articles, conference papers, those light items. It will be hard for you to import a full book. Now, for example, in EBSCO, you will not be able to import a book which you are supposed to borrow for a number of days. That provision is not there. So when we come here, we shall look for a journal article, rather a journal database, like now Taylor and Francis, and then we can search for maybe academic admissions. Someone can write a paper on that. And then they are giving us 240,000 results. And then we shall filter on the content we have access to. So the database will filter, but it also gives us provision to continue filtering by subject, by article type, by journal type, by publication date. So we have access to 23,000 results. When you go by subject, and while looking at academic admission in education, yes, then it will give you a list, a long list of different subjects within education. And then it's upon me to select. Maybe I'm looking at education, policies, and politics. And then if I look at policies, am I looking at the policy for assessment? Am I looking at school and schooling, curriculum, pedagogy, and so on? If I'm not interested in breaking down all these, I'll leave the subjects alone. I'll not break them down. I'll leave the subjects, and maybe I'll just select education in general, and then the database will filter and will only display the 4,189 results. But still I'll have the opportunity to break it down. So it's still filtering to ensure that it only displays that. So it has displayed only education, and within education, it will continue breaking down because education is broad, and then you can continue like that. However, if my interest is not there, I'm able to read abstracts, I'm able to get full text, but now I'm going to import. So after making my filtering of the results, I'll click on the web importer, Mendeley web importer, and it will display a secondary page signing in with my Mendeley account. If you signed out the account, it will definitely pop you to first sign in. So the database is able to fetch 10 references or detect 10 references because it's picking these from the cover page, and 10 ideally are ones which are displayed. And then I'll need to read the PDFs. So I'll select the ones with PDF provision, because some may not display PDF, but only those with PDF will be displayed. Okay, and then I'll come to my library. Remember, under my library, we have different collections. We have AR admissions, AR examinations, examination PhD assessment, examination undergraduate. But remember, my article are on admissions. So I'll select admissions and click add. Now, the database, sometimes depending on the network, sometimes depending on the size of the article, sometimes it might fail to upload the PDF files the way it has indicated. So it has not been able to upload some of these PDFs. What does it mean? It means that I'll have to do this manually. What it has been able to fetch are the references. So it has been able to fetch the references and some few PDFs, not all. Then I'll go back to, I'll close here, and then I'll go to my Mendeley account. When you go to your Mendeley account, we shall go back to our collection and click on admissions. Right, refresh. And under admissions, out of the 10 articles, the database has been, the importer has been able to import only 3 PDFs. So what does that mean? I'll have to come here and download each article. I'll download each article independently and then be in position to upload it manually. So this is the article. I'll download it as a PDF. And then when I go back online, I'll be able to upload it from my Mendeley desktop, what we are going to practice. So now when we are here online, you can be able to read your PDFs in your Mendeley account. The moment I double click on the article which has a PDF provision, my article is here. And then on the right hand side, it will give you the bibliographic information of the article. And this information is the one which is mostly important when it comes to citation and referencing. So when we come here, I can play around with my article. I can highlight text. Okay. And then we talked about the rainbow colors. By default, it will display yellow. But you can make a choice of another color. I can choose blue. And then I'll go here to highlight and highlight this paragraph or sentence in blue. If I want to change the color with another sentence, I'll do the same. Why are you doing all this? You are trying to specify the sentences or the paragraphs which have the information you need to work out your assignment or paper. And then after that, you can be in position to put a note. So you can put a note. So I can say suitable for problem statement. And then I'll leave my note there. The moment I come back, okay, it will notify me that this I highlighted it basically for the problem statement. So that's how you can be able to play around with the PDFs within your Mendeley online account. Now we are going to open another tab and now download Mendeley desktop because you need it to work offline. And most of the time we are offline when we are working on our projects. So I'll type Mendeley, or rather download Mendeley desktop. Okay. Currently the installer version is 1.19.8. I'll share that. So I've shared the link in the chat for those who, oh, sorry. So for those who are able to do the installation, you can. If you are unable, you can seek assistance from DICTS. So now we have different packages here recommended for Windows, for Mac or Apple machines, Ubuntu 32-bit, 64-bit, and then Linux the same 32-bit and then 64-bit. If you don't understand this language of bits, still you can seek assistance from the DICTS team, either in the labs or at their offices. Then you can download and do the installation. However, as I said earlier, you need to have the admin rights of the computer you are using or the laptop. Then the installation will be successful. So after doing the installation, the Mendeley page the Mendeley desktop page will open in this nature. And now you'll be required to pick the credentials you used online to type them here. Your email and then your password. If you are using your computer, you can stay signed in. If it's a public computer, like for example, you were in the computer lab, you don't need to stay signed in because you never know what can happen to your data when somebody finds the account. So the moment you log in your email, so the moment we log in, after logging in, this is how my page will look like, and it will have the citation plugins for Microsoft Word. And I'll click on the button for install now. And this usually you do it when your Microsoft Office files are all closed. When they are open, it will not work. So after that, they are indicating that I've installed the citation plugin. Then I'll close. The desktop is telling us that you can add and create or import documents, which we've already done with imported using some of our web plugins of the browser you are using. Then we have the storage, which is the local and the cloud. So when we go to the local, that's where we are now. We've been on the cloud. And then there is also a help button. So this is our page now for Mendeley. And when we go to our folders here, you remember we created DICTS, academic and learning, there is nothing, infrastructure and networking, there is nothing. When we go to DVC, AA, the faculties have nothing. But when we scroll up, remember we had AR. Under examination is, we have nothing. Under graduation, there is nothing. When you go to admissions, there is something. So that's how the system net works. So after logging in here, you can see our articles. The moment you click on it, the left-hand panel will be active. And in the left-hand panel, you can be able to edit. That is if the author's name, the title of the article, the of publication, volume issue, and others were not captured correctly. However, this is possible when you are dealing with materials which have been fetched with the PDF provision. For example, this article here, let us look at the one which we highlighted online. Was it this? No. I think it's the third one. Okay. So you can see when we did our highlights online, even here, they are being reflected. Even our note. So I did everything the other side on Mendeley Cloud, but I'm able to view it. But I can delete. I can delete the note. Yes, I don't need it there. I can still come here and change the color. I can still come here and highlight more. And when I highlight, I can change the color as well and give it a different color. So I'll play around with my file. Then you can zoom for the item to fit on the page. If you need a full screen, you can decide to get a full screen. It will display on a full screen. If that is not your interest, you can still undo. Okay. Then you can also let's go back here. So in case you want to upload items in another folder, you should click on it and it should be active. Then you go on your computer and upload the items which you would like to have here. Let's do this. Back to the. Okay. So sorry about that. When I tried to zoom it to full text, something wrong happened here, but we can continue. So I wanted to indicate for you that when we go to the main menu on top here, we can add files. You can add a folder. You can watch a folder. You can add entry manually. The moment you click on add folder, it will take you to your computer, and then you go to your files, and then you'll be able to download materials of your interest. For example, let me do this. Here. Oh, before you do that, before you add files, you need to select a folder where I want them to go. So when we go under DICTS, for example, I'm looking at articles under infrastructure and networking, it should be the active folder, the middle panel, it should indicate that. Then I'll go to add files, and then I'll go to my desktop where the articles are, and then I'll pick the articles. Okay. So they will be uploaded here. I'll go under academics if I have items for Faculty of Business Administration and Management. This time round, I can add a full folder. So I'll be taken to my computer, go to my desktop, and pick a folder which I think has the articles. I'll click on the folder, and then it will upload all the articles within that folder. Then I'll go to another folder, Faculty of Health Sciences. This time round, I'm going to add entry manually. And adding entry manually mainly will give you another page of document types organized in alphabet, bills, books. Book sections are the same as book chapters, cases, computer programs, conference proceedings, encyclopedias, generics, hearings, articles in form of journals, magazines, newspapers, patents, up to working papers. If you select, for example, a statute, the template is slightly different. You'll appreciate for it has a code number, a country, a public law number, a source, and a statute number. If it is a book, for example, still there will be some changes here. They're talking of the city, the edition, the editors, the publisher, the DOI, the ISBN, and so on. So we are going to enter book because that's what I have. And the book here is Research Methods for Public Health. So I'll just type there the title. I'll go to the author. This book doesn't have authors, it has editors. Then I'll go to the year of publication. And this book was published in 2020. It runs from page 1. You check up to the last page where even the indexes are or the glossaries. So the book runs up to page 270. The abstract is not so important. The tags are not so important. Authors' keywords are not so important. The city is important because that's where the book was published from. And this book I'm holding was published from Los Angeles. Edition, it's the first edition. We don't write the word edition in full, write it like that. Editors, then I'll put the editors. I have Macklin Stewart, Bray Isabella, Nick D. Vigina, and the rest. So separate them by a comma. So going to the another editor, I'll use this is Bray Isabella. It has 8 of them. I'll not finish them all. I'll stop at that. And then I'll go to the publisher. And this book is published by Sage Publications Inc. And then it doesn't have a DOI, but it has an ISBN, the International Standard Book Number. Then I'll check through and see whether all the important information is in there for referencing and citation. And then I'll save. So the moment I click on it, in the left-hand panel, the details are there. Now, if I need to edit, I can edit from the left-hand panel. If there is anything to edit, if I made a mistake. So that's how you can be able to upload the manual items. Those are the print items which you've picked elsewhere. Now, after this, we have editing, we have view. Under view, that's where we have the citation styles. By default, mainly after installing it, we'll pick APA, but there are other referencing styles. If you need more styles, it will display And in case the style of your interest is not there, you can search. But usually when you are searching, you should make sure that now you are online. But the rest of the business we've done it when we are offline. Then when you go to tools, they talk about the web importer. We've already done the importation. They talk about uninstall MS Word plugin. We're not going to uninstall it. We've already done the installation. Get Mendeley site. It takes you back to the online page where you created the account from. Check duplicates. If the articles you've used them in different avenues, and you want to find out whether they are duplicates, when you check duplicates, it will check within that particular folder you've opened. And then after doing all this, you can do the synchronization. Synchronize your library with Mendeley Web. The Mendeley Web is your cloud account. Or you can go to Files and synchronize. Then when we are here on Mendeley Desktop, we can still create another folder or subfolders within the main folders. For example, under examinations, we can right-hand click and create a new folder for HEC. Because when we are looking at exams, the HEC were not considered. So I'll add the HEC, and the moment I go back to my online account, HEC will be reflected there because the platform is still doing the synchronization, and HEC is going to be added the other side. Even the item we've added manually is going to be reflected the other side. So now the last business after generating our personal libraries is now to do the in-text citation and referencing. So we shall open a Microsoft Word document. So when we are here in our Word document, I assume we've just started working on our assignment. Now we need to do the in-text citation. You put a cursor where you would like your citation to appear. So where I've put the cursor, then I'll go to the main menu and click on references. You'll be able to view the icons for Mendeley, insert citation, insert bibliography, open Mendeley. We are not going to open Mendeley because our Mendeley desktop is currently open. So we shall go to insert citation. The moment you reach there, they will give you a search box to search by author, by title, or by year if you are sure. If you are not sure, you click on go to Mendeley. And it will take you to your desktop and you will select Remember our items, most of them were uploaded under admissions, some. And then I'll select an item, 1 or 2. And after selecting them, I'll click on the icon above the word cite, which says send citation to plugin. And then it has generated the citation. I'll go to the next sentence, do the same, but this time round, I know the, let's see. I know the authors. For example, I have Danny, I have Webster. So I'm going to go to my document here. Again, click on insert, and this time round I'll search. Search for Webster, Richard. Then I'll search for Danny. Oh. Sorry. I'll cancel one first. Okay. Go back here. Webster. Danny. So those are my 2 references. But before I click OK, I want to include the specific pages I read. I'll click in the author Webster. And then I'll be given a provision for the page. I'll indicate page 2 to page 5, for example. I'll go to Danny, do the same. Click maybe page 34, 36. And then I'll click on the OK button. So there's a difference from the first citations and the second one. The second one, I was more specific. I checked through specific pages. Then I can start generating my reference list. However much, it's a working paper, I'm not yet done. And I'll go and click on insert bibliography. So only the cited references will be indicated here and organized alphabetically. I can continue with the same and add in more references. Automatically, the reference list will keep on updating itself. I can continue doing the same and check maybe with another subject or another folder. The reference list will continue generating in alphabetical manner. So that's how we can do the in-text citation and referencing using Mendeley. So you should have generated your library, then you are able to do this in your personal project, assignment, conference paper, article, and so on. Thank you. If you have any question, please, you can now ask before we can get another commercial break. Thank you. There are no questions? Everything is okay? All right. So let's have 5 minutes break and then we shall look at the last segment or the last module of the plagiarism checker. And for that session, it will take only 20 minutes, and then we shall call this training to an end. Thank you. For those who have not yet registered for the session, I remind you to register. You can check in the chat where the link is for registration. Let's be back in the next 5 minutes. us resume. Let us continue to the last segment. We are now going to look at the plagiarism checker which the university subscribes to, and that is Drillbit. When you go to your browser, you type there drillbitplagiarism.com. I'll share this in the chat as well. Then you go to get started and select institutional login. I'll first take you through the administrative account for you to appreciate that Drillbit will give us actual statistics per usage, per person, per department, per faculty, and so on and so forth. So when we are at this page, we subscribed to 300 accounts for instructors. An instructor is the lecturer. So whether you are teaching, you have one module you are teaching as a full-time, you are part of the instructors. Then also students. But when you look at the difference of usage, it is very low. But for us to appreciate, the platform will give us the submission overview of how many people have submitted within a month. It will also give us the similarity range, and these statistics we are able to generate them. It will also give us the account validity. So we have 13 days remaining over our license, which we paid for. And then it will also indicate that in the trend of analysis, 94% it's our work and 6% is the similarity, one which has been picked from other sources. Then when we go to document type, it will also give us the statistics in percentage and numbers, project works, others, assignments, articles, dissertations, thesis, those are for our PhD students. Then when you go by department, it will also give us the statistics per department. The department for computing took the lead. Then we have other departments with those fewer statistics. Okay, so where DICTS is having 4 ARIs, not anywhere, DVC AA office. So when you look at all the faculties are not captured here. When you see Faculty of Environment and Agricultural Sciences, computing is part of Faculty of Computing and Faculty of Sciences and Computing. So you appreciate that. Then when you go to engineering, there's only a mechanical engineering department. So it has not been utilized as it should. That's why when you come to instructor numbers, the numbers are fewer. It should have been maybe 200 over 300, or it should have been 300 over 300. So this is the dashboard. Then if you need to be created an account, we can create for an account because we are also able to monitor each account. Some of the accounts were created, but they've not been utilized. No submission has been done all through for full year. So then the students can be added there by the instructor, but the admin of the platform, of Drillbit platform, will be able even to view the students. So let's now switch to the instructor account, because that's where business is. Okay. When you move to the instructor account, when we create for an account, you'll have a page of this nature, but without any class. it will be empty. And in the right-hand corner, bottom of the page, we have what we call create a class. So you will create a class. A class is a lecture, is a course unit you are going to teach in that particular semester. For example, if I'm going to teach education, my course unit is called Education Management. And then the description, it's upon you to describe the way you want. This is year 2, semester 2. And then our semester will be ending in May. So I can put 30th May and then create a class. So when you create a class, you can be able to edit, but you will not be able to edit the class name. You edit the description and expiry date. So you click on the class itself, and then you as an instructor or a teacher or a lecturer, you are the one to add the students. When you click on students, you still go to the blue button in the right-hand bottom corner and add students. They will give you a provision to add from the list, if you have already a list generated, to add multiple students. And for multiple students, you'll be shared a template. You download a template, which is in Excel, for you to be able to upload the students' details. And these are the student names, the email address, the student ID, the department, section, and phone number. If it's an individual student, you'll go back and add student one by one. The name, the email, the ID, the department, the section. The phone is not so important. And then you click on the Add Student button. After that, any student you've forgotten will not be able to submit his or her work through Drillbit. Then after that, we go to assignments. When students are submitting their work, they submit it under assignments, not under a class. So you go back to the blue button and then create an assignment. I can call it a group assignment. Group assignment 1. Give it the dates. They can start submitting today. I'm giving them a full month, meaning they will submit 12th will be a Sunday, they will submit on Monday the 13th. If you have other instructions, you can choose a file and upload a file. However, we have what we call assignment settings. When you come down here on the settings, you can allow grading. If you want the system to grade, if the group assignment is out of 20, it will grade the students. If it's a no, you leave it at a no. Exclude references. If you don't want the database to check the references, you exclude them. You don't want to exclude the quotes, if you exclude them. Exclude small sources. If you leave it, it will add them. Save to repository. Here you have to be very careful. If a person gives a same assignment every semester, every new intake, it means the students' work will reach a point when it will all be in the Drillbit repository, and they will be scoring 90s and 80s of similarity report because they check with the colleagues, the previous groups. So you have to be careful on that before you select repository. So that is the repository. Okay. Then when you can then if you want to exclude previous submissions, if students submitted some time back, you can exclude the work which was submitted some time back. Allow resubmission. If you say yes, how many times do you want them to resubmit after the deadline? Then they can resubmit. Allow submission after due date. After the deadline, if you add in extra days, are you sure they will not violate them? So you have to be very careful on that. Choice of notification, email. Yes, you want them to be notified over their work they've submitted. You can add questions. You can exclude phrases. Now, phrases like Ndeje University, because all of them on their coursework, there will be a word in Ndeje University. All of them on their work, there will be Bachelor of Education, Bachelor of Arts in Education. Okay. Year 1. So you want to exclude so that when the database is filtering, it doesn't look at this as plagiarism stuff because every student will be having the same statement. You can even include your names because for it, it will look at your names that they are similar and every student will add them there. The words like lecturer, because you're a lecturer, it will highlight it as plagiarism stuff because every student will have such. So in other words, the cover page, phrase words, you can exclude them. So that when it is filtering, it doesn't check that. View of similarity, percentage and report. If you say no, it will be upon you as a lecturer to download these reports and share them with students. But when you say yes, they'll be able to view them by themselves. Data submission. In a day, how many times can they check their work? It's upon you to decide. Then compare against databases. Because we check purposely to compare whether the work has not been copied from other databases. Student papers, journals and publishers, those are the online resources we've just looked at, internet and web, institution repository. These ones we cannot say no, because the moment we say no, then there is no purpose of the system. So we shall leave them as they are and then submit. So now the setup I've done, the students will just be in position to follow that. However, I can still edit the setup. I can come back and edit and make some changes depending on my interest as an instructor. So a student, the moment he or she logs in, will go to the group assignment and then will be required to go to the blue button in the bottom right hand corner to upload the assignment or the project. For example, if a student is from Southern Sudan and has done the assignment in Arabic, we'll select non-English. Is from Congo, has done it in French, we'll select non-English. If it is in English, we'll select English and then we'll browse to upload a file. So the student will go and check, upload the file, give it the names, and then also the document type. Now, when it's calculating the statistics which I displayed in the first place, it will also look at this. So this is an assignment. I'll select assignment and then I'll submit. So the database will check for me and give me 3 reports. The similarity report, the AI score report, and the grammar quality report. However, the instructor has authority to guide the student to make changes in the work if the percentages are too high, or to tell the student, you need to go back and redo this assignment. So it's upon the instructor. But the system is not there to make judgment. It's not an academic tribunal to charge the student disciplinary how he did the assignment, but it's just a tool which guides an instructor or the assessor of the assignment. And then you can make conclusive conclusions about student's work before awarding him or her a mark. The reports depend on the size of the document. If it's huge, it might take some more minutes. If it's a light file, it will take very few minutes. So basically, that's how Drillbit works. Now we are going to access the reports. So the reports are here. It's giving me 23% similarity report, 28% AI score, and the grammar is still working on it. So when you go to the similarity report, I'll open it. So it's indicating that it is seeing 29 matched sources for this particular paper. And then 6% is from this publication, oecd.org. The moment I click on OECD in the work, it will display where it's finding matches. So it's finding matched with 18 words, and they are saying that these are normal words. Okay? Then when we look at the right-hand corner on top, there is satisfactory 0 to 10%, upgrade 11 to 40%, poor 41 to 60%, unacceptable 61 to 100%. Ideally, at international standards, in many institutions, if a student is an undergraduate, here he would have been okay, because anything above 30% that is criticized. For a master's student, 20 and below. Now it's 23, it's not too bad. The student can go and make more changes by paraphrasing some of the texts. Then if he's a PhD student, this will be still high, because usually it is not supposed to be above 10%. Though some institutions it is 15%. So, but it shouldn't be below 6% at all levels. So this is the similarity. And then you can be in position to download a report in PDF, which will clearly give you the colored percentages and graphs with pie charts. Then we can also be able to download the AI report. The grammar usually takes time because it looks at even all the punctuations. So this is the report, and it's indicating for you that 5.01% is internet source and 17.99% is journal publication. And it shows you the quotes as 0.51%, references, because we didn't exclude, we left the references there. Maybe if we had excluded, the percentages will be low. So the references are taking 15.31%. And then these are the matches. So this is the full document, and it keeps on highlighting where you need to make changes. Then when it comes to AI, you can also be able to download the AI report. And then for it, it will highlight all the text which it thinks that it has been AI generated. However, these days, many people have done their own work and then AI looks at it as AI generated. Now, when you look at this text, AI is triggering it that it is AI generated, but ideally the person would have done his or her own work because even the in-text citation is there. Okay. The owner of this work cited well. So it's upon the lecturer to decide whether the student should go make changes or it is okay. Because at international level, we currently only have guidelines. We don't have the policies which clearly indicate the percentages which are not allowed. So for it, it's seeing 28% AI and 72% human text. So that's what the report is trying to portray to us. So I want to thank you so much for all those who have been able to attend from when we started up to the end. And this marks the end of our phase 1 for your group. We shall meet again for phase 2. But if you have any question, I'll give you an opportunity. You can unmute yourself or you can use the chat box and then you ask before we call this to an end. Thank you. Any question? Any addition? Okay.